Hi everyone, welcome to the channel at Erno Driven. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I will be showcasing my car and what I've done so far to it. And the purpose of this video is just to show you guys the modifications, if you consider them mods, of what I did to prepare this car to be a little bit more driver focused in the canyons. It is a street build at the moment. There are some plans that I would love to do to this car. I would love to add more power, obviously. Everybody loves more power on these cars. My goal is to aim for 250 plus, minimum 250. I feel like 250 is the sweet spot for a car like this. This is not a Type R. This is a 2026 Honda Civic Si. And I believe this car has a lot of potential. And hopefully in this channel we get to build it together and you guys can see what potential this car has. Right now we are currently on lowering springs from Whiteline. I was a little bit skeptical at first, coming from Swift Spec Rs on my previous Honda Civic Si that I had. Was a 2024. Unfortunately, that car was totaled and I ended up getting a new one, a 2026 model. It did come with some upgrades from the 2024 model, from the facelift to the tachometer. It's a full LCD screen and it has the Type R shifting lights. Also, the heated seats is a plus in this vehicle. Honestly, they should have came like that from the beginning. But yeah, this is the car. And there are other things that I'm going to be doing today besides just showcasing it. I will be installing a rear motor mount insert. Not a full motor mount, but just the inserts only. It is a daily. There is a reason why I went with the Whiteline springs as well. I'm just focused more on a street build and being a daily car. I got these springs for a 20 millimeter drop, and I didn't want to go any lower than that. I do want some comforts here, since I do drive my kids to school in this car, so I still need to have those comforts. I'm used to coming from coilovers and completely slammed cars, but this is not that. And honestly, you don't need to be extremely low to have a nice looking car aesthetically, or for it to perform properly in the canyons as well. This car also has a 22 millimeter rear sway bar from Whiteline as well. I ended up installing that first. That was the first thing I installed in this car, and I immediately felt the difference. It was a night and day difference. It is a must on these front wheel drive cars in general. It's the best bang for your buck. I think it cost me like $150, and the Whiteline springs were around $300. I did buy everything on a Black Friday sale, so it was a lot cheaper than that, and honestly, it transformed the car into a better drivable car. So when I installed the 22 millimeter rear sway bar, I immediately felt that the front needed a lot more stiffness from the springs. So from factory, these springs in the front are 2K spring rate in the front, and in the rear are 5.7K. So it is stiffer in the rear. But when you install the 22 millimeter sway bar, the front, you can feel the softness. So I did a lot of research. I wanted to increase the spring rate, but not make it undrivable. There's only two companies that make spring rates that match the rear spring rate, which is what I prefer to have it at, because that spring rate does give it some stiffness or rigidity. Maybe that's not the right term, but it does give it a better turn-in feel because it's stiffer in the rear. So when I did that with the rear sway bar, obviously it stiffened it more. The rear was just completely soft. It was more evident how much nosedive I would get during braking and turn-in. So one route was no lowering springs and just getting some FK8 front springs from the Type R, the 10th gen Type R, and I didn't go that route, but that was a possibility because those give you a little bit more than double the spring rate that we have now. I think it's about 4K or 4.7K in the front. That would have helped a lot, but I did want to lower the car. Aesthetically, I love lowered cars. They just look so good when it's low. So I did go with the Whiteline springs over the Swift Spec Rs, which give you the exact same spring rate at 5.7K. And then the front were 4.1. The drop is 1.1 inch, or I think it's 1 inch. But from my experience on the previous car I had, it did lower it a little bit more. And it looked amazing. But comfortability in terms of potholes or going over bumps or just having my daughters in the car, it was just too low for me. So they were great, but I needed something with a little bit less drop. So I went with the Whitelines again, 20 millimeters of a drop. The car looks amazing. And it feels great as well. So the spring rates on these Whitelines are 4.7K. And we did lose some stiffness in the rear at 5.1K, which is fine. Honestly, the car feels like stock in the rear. That stiffness is still there. And when I go to the canyons, the car feels extremely planted. When you're hitting the brakes, the nosedive is a lot less. It's a lot more controllable than just having the rear sway bar installed. So that's what we've done so far. One thing that I did forget to mention is that I did install a PRL stage 1 intake. The purpose for that was just to get a little bit more turbo sounds into the cabin. Unfortunately, it's not that loud in the cabin. You can barely hear it. But it is a good thing that I did that, because as one thing that I forgot to mention is that we also got a mic for the purpose of getting better sound or induction sound. This is the Insta360 Mic Air. And hopefully this gives my videos better sound than what we have right now. Hopefully you guys enjoy as well the sounds that come out of this car. Like I said, you can't hear it in the cabin, but I will be putting this inside of the engine bay to get that induction note and hopefully give you a better submersive feel for what the car does. In the canyons, you can hear it, but unfortunately in the video, because I have the windows rolled down so I can get some air in here, the AC is turned off. I don't like to run the AC while I'm spiritedly driving. So the speaker is just to get that induction note out of the car and to give you guys a better footage of this vehicle. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright everyone, so this is the Powerflex rear motor mount insert that I will be installing in this car. I do apologize for this camera. It is an action cam. It doesn't want to focus on the letters here, as you can see. But this is for an FL5 Type R rear motor mount, but it fits the Civic Si. Anything from the 11 Gen, it will fit. And this was only about $40, and to be honest with you, it's really good for the price. You don't have to go all out and getting a Purell, PLM, Hasports, or any other manufacturer that creates a solid motor mount. If you're looking for a streetable daily driving comfort with more rigidity, this is what you're looking for. If you don't care for that and you want that stiffness for, you know, racing applications or something a little bit more rigid, then obviously this is not the one for you. But they do have another level of stiffness higher than this one. These are yellow bushings. These are 70A Durometer, and then they have a black one, which is a 90A Durometer, which is a lot stiffer. So if you still want to save some money and get that rigidity, you can buy this. Okay, so this is what we have under the hood. Like I said before, it was just the Purell Stage 1 intake, which replaces the old tube that's here, and it gives you a high airflow filter here. This is the old tube. As you can see, it's not very appealing. So aesthetically, yeah, it looks better with that on there. And the filter, it gets replaced from this paper filter, which you can see I changed this at 6,000 miles and it gets pretty dirty. So hopefully the high airflow filter does the job in keeping all the dust out. But it does perform a little bit better, I can say. But again, it's not much. Okay, so here we have the rear motor mount out. And let me show you a little bit of this flex that we see from a stock motor mount. See how much play there is? It's a lot of play for just my hand strength. It's a lot. Let me show you how it looks with just the bushing or insert bushing in. This is one of them. So this goes like so. You push it down. It's gonna look like this. You might think it's not snug, but it is snug enough. Once you put it in between where it sits inside, it's gonna be a clamp like this, and the bolt goes up, if that makes sense. It's gonna clamp like this. So inside this clamp is a big surface area, and it will sandwich the bushing a little bit more in. So let's put the other side in, and as you can see, it's just gaps. You can see that yellow bushing right there. It's just a big empty gap. So let's put this inside. Beautiful. Okay, so that's there. Now let's try it again with this, just to, here we go. Minimal. A lot less flex. This is a really good insert bushing for the price. It was only $40 plus tax and shipping. I mean, you can't get any better than that. And this is obviously going to be good for those people that just want a little bit more stiffness and rigidity, and less rocking of their engine back and forth when shifting gears. It's supposed to give you less wheel hop, which I'm not really a drag race type of guy, but it's good to know that there's some rigidity there. Okay, so this is what you get for 40 bucks. This is pretty good. There's a little gap. Like I said, it will be sandwiched once you put it inside of its housing of where it belongs. It will be squished down, and then once you torque it down, it will be in there. So let's install it. Okay, so I just finished installing the rear motor mount, and I just want to show you guys how it looks underneath here. So this is the rear motor mount, both right here. Okay, but if you can see right there, let me bring the flashlight over here a little closer. That's how it gets sandwiched. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me see. Up here, right here where the bolt is, there's a housing that it sits on. It's a platform here that when it's torqued down, it squeezes into the bushing and down here as well. So once it's torqued down, these two inserts squish down into the motor mount, creating a more solid motor mount. So $40, it's a pretty good deal. All right guys, so here are the lowering springs from Whiteline. These are advertised at a 20 millimeter drop, which is less than an inch, and that's exactly what I was looking for. These were originally made for the 10th gen, but obviously these parts, it's practically the same chassis as the 10th gen, so some of these parts are interchangeable. So these were specifically made for that vehicle, and they fit just fine on this car. Just if you guys are interested, you guys know that this will work for you guys. Okay, on their website it says that if it's the 11th gen as well, just if you guys feel more secure with them telling you guys, but these do fit. Just want to show you guys that this has some play in here. It's nothing to be concerned about, to be honest with you. This is common on even some coilovers where there is no preload on here, which is fine. The car is not going to be going airborne, so this doesn't really matter. Once it sits down, it's locked in, secure. I've been driving it pretty extremely at the canyons, and as you see from the video, the car does go through a lot of abuse in the canyons, and I haven't had any issues, no noise whatsoever, so this does work. Okay, if you guys have any questions, just ask me in the comments. I will do my best to answer them, and let me show you how the rear looks. All right, so we're underneath the car. Sorry, I didn't want to take off the wheel. I don't want to jack it up and do all that. It's much easier to put it on these ramps here. So this is how they sit, and this is how they look. It is common for these to look like this. Okay, but the car feels really, really planted. Feels really good. I haven't had any issues, like I said. Replacing the rear sway bar though, which is right here. This is the bar. I will show you the other side in a minute. But here, these are the end links for this one. You do have to replace the ones that come with the car. They are made of plastic. I don't know why they made them out of plastic. So I ended up purchasing some from AutoZone, which are made of some type of metal. They're very sturdy and they work. They do the job. So let me show you guys here underneath. Let me move the flashlight here. That's the sway bar. Oh, we're running out of juice here, but we're almost done. So here, this bar goes all the way to the other side, obviously. It is a 22 millimeter. One thing to know if you're planning on putting this on, this piece right here doesn't come with the kit. So I did have to purchase some of these collars to prevent this from sliding left and right. Unfortunately, they were sliding left and right, even though I torqued these down properly. They're very tight. This bar still, for some reason, was just sliding left and right. So over here on this side, you can see the other collar. There is a small little gap here, but it doesn't move. It stays in there pretty good. I noticed after I had tested it out that when I looked underneath, there's some lubrication that you put in between the bushing and the bar. There was a lot here and a lot here. So I realized then that it was moving left and right. So I purchased some of these collars from Amazon, and they do the job incredibly well. So yeah, that's it for now on the setup. And let's see how the mics sound on the car just for a quick test drive.